The roar of the crowd, the clash of titans, the thrill of victory, these are the hallmarks of the NFL. But beneath the surface, a darker story unfolds. A story of deceit, betrayal, and the pursuit of an unfair advantage. This is the story of the steroid scandal, a stain on the soul of America's game. It's a story that has played out over decades, casting a long shadow over the league's integrity. From hushed whispers in locker rooms to explosive headlines, the use of performance-enhancing drugs has become an insidious threat, eroding the very foundations of fair play and sportsmanship. The pursuit of greatness is at the heart of every athlete's journey. But when that pursuit comes at the cost of honesty and the well-being of players, it's time to question the true price of victory. The use of performance-enhancing drugs in the NFL didn't happen overnight. It was a slow and insidious process that took years to fully manifest. It wasn't a sudden storm that engulfed the league, but rather a creeping shadow that gradually darkened the sport. It was a gradual creep, a slow poisoning of the well that began as a trickle in the late 1960s. The whispers of performance enhancers started to circulate among a select few. Back then, the use of performance enhancers was a whisper, a closely guarded secret among a select few. These whispers grew louder as more players sought an edge. By the 1980s, that whisper had become a roar. The use of performance-enhancing drugs was no longer an open secret but a widespread issue. An alarming number of players were succumbing to the allure of an easy path to physical dominance. The pressure to excel was immense. Estimates suggested that as many as half of the league's players were using some form of PEDs. The integrity of the sport was at stake. The pressure to perform, to secure lucrative contracts, to etch their names in the annals of NFL history, it all became a breeding ground for a culture of cheating. The stakes were higher than ever. The league, slow to react to the growing crisis, finally implemented steroid testing in 1987. This was a pivotal moment in the fight against doping. It was a step in the right direction, but it was just the beginning of a long and arduous battle. The road to a clean sport would be fraught with challenges. The history of the NFL is littered with doping scandals that have rocked the league to its core, shaking the very foundation of professional football. Each case serves as a stark reminder of the pervasiveness of the problem, and the lengths to which some players will go to gain an edge, often risking their careers and health. The Balco scandal of 2003 sent shockwaves through the sporting world, exposing a sophisticated network of steroid distribution that reached the highest echelons of professional sports, including the NFL. This scandal was a wake-up call for many. Names like Barry Bonds and Marion Jones became synonymous with the scandal, but the NFL wasn't spared from the fallout. The league had to confront its own issues head-on. Several players, including some from the Oakland Raiders, were implicated in the scandal, their reputations forever tarnished. The impact on their careers was profound. Then there was the case of Bill Romanowski, a linebacker known for his ferocious intensity on the field. His involvement added another layer of complexity to the scandal. Romanowski, a central figure in the Balco scandal, admitted to using steroids, supplied by Victor Conti, the mastermind behind the distribution ring. His admission was a significant moment in the investigation. His confession sent ripples through the league, a stark reminder that even the most celebrated athletes were not immune to the allure of PEDs. The league had to take a hard look at its policies. These cases, along with countless others, have left an indelible mark on the NFL, eroding the trust of fans and raising serious questions about the integrity of the game. The league continues to grapple with these issues today. The desire to win, to be the best, is deeply ingrained in the DNA of every athlete. But when that desire morphs into an obsession, it can lead down a dangerous path. A path paved with performance-enhancing drugs that promise superhuman strength and endurance but come at a steep cost. The human body, for all its resilience, is not designed to withstand the onslaught of synthetic hormones and stimulants. The short-term effects of PEDs are well-documented: increased aggression, mood swings, acne, and liver damage. But it's the long-term consequences that paint a truly harrowing picture. Prolonged use of PEDs can lead to a litany of health problems, including heart disease, stroke, infertility, and even some forms of cancer. The very substances that promise to elevate athletes to new heights of physical prowess can ultimately leave them battling debilitating health conditions later in life. The pursuit of glory, it seems, can come at an unbearable price, one that many athletes may not fully comprehend until it's too late. Section 5. The ethical minefield. The use of PEDs in the NFL isn't just a health issue, it's a moral one. It strikes at the very heart of fair play and sportsmanship, the very principles that make sports a source of inspiration and entertainment for millions around the world. When athletes turn to PEDs, they're not just cheating their bodies, they're cheating their fellow competitors and the fans who believe in the integrity of the game. The pressure to win, to secure lucrative contracts, and to achieve legendary status can be immense. But these pressures can never justify compromising the fundamental ethics of sportsmanship. When athletes resort to PEDs, they create an uneven playing field, undermining the efforts of those who choose to compete cleanly. The use of PEDs sends a dangerous message, especially to young athletes who idolize their sporting heroes. It normalizes cheating, suggesting that success is unattainable without resorting to artificial enhancements. Section 6. The NFL's stand: a league divided. The NFL, faced with mounting pressure from fans, sponsors, and ethical considerations, has taken steps to address the PED epidemic within its ranks. Players are now subjected to random drug tests throughout the season, and the penalties for violating the league's PED policy have become increasingly severe. Suspensions, once a rarity, have become more commonplace, with players facing lengthy bans for testing positive for banned substances. Hefty fines designed to serve as a deterrent have also been levied against those who violate the league's policies. Since 2002, the NFL has issued over $68 million in fines and 945 substance-related game suspensions. Despite these measures, the NFL's handling of the PED crisis has been met with mixed reactions. Critics argue that the league's testing policies are still not rigorous enough, pointing to the fact that some players are still able to circumvent the system. Section 7. Evolution of the drug policy. The NFL's drug policy, once a static document, has undergone significant changes in recent years, reflecting the league's evolving stance on PED use and other substances. These changes are part of a broader effort to modernize the league's approach to player health and safety. In December 2024, the NFL and the NFL Players Association, or NFLPA, agreed to a series of changes to the substance abuse policy, signaling a potential shift in the league's approach. This agreement was the result of extensive negotiations and reflects a more collaborative relationship between the league and its players. One of the most notable changes was an increase in the THC threshold for positive tests. This adjustment acknowledges the evolving legal landscape around marijuana and its medicinal uses. This move was seen by some as a step towards a more lenient approach to marijuana use among players. It also reflects a growing understanding of the pressures and realities faced by modern athletes. Additionally, the new policy included a reset of violation clocks after 1 year, a departure from the previous policy where missed tests remained on a player's record indefinitely. This change aims to give players a fair chance to rehabilitate and return to the field without a permanent mark on their record. The new policy also introduced a provision prohibiting players from posting drug test notifications on social media. This rule is intended to maintain the integrity of the testing process and prevent unnecessary public scrutiny. This measure, aimed at reducing the public shaming of players who may have committed minor violations, highlights the league's evolving stance on player privacy. It underscores a commitment to treating players with respect and dignity, even when they make mistakes. Section 8. The unending battle. The fight against PEDs in the NFL is far from over. It's an ongoing battle, a constant game of cat and mouse between the league and those determined to circumvent the rules. As quickly as new testing methods are developed, new, more sophisticated PEDs emerge, making detection a constant challenge. The league's efforts to combat PED use are further complicated by the black market that thrives in the shadows. The availability of designer drugs, specifically engineered to be undetectable by current testing methods, poses a significant challenge for the NFL's enforcement efforts. The NFL's battle against PEDs is not just about protecting the integrity of the game, it's about protecting the players themselves. The long-term health consequences of PED use are well documented, and the league has a moral obligation to educate its players about the risks involved. Section 9. A legacy tarnished, a future uncertain. The steroid scandal has left an indelible mark on the NFL, casting a long shadow over its legacy. The image of the league, once a symbol of American sporting prowess, has been tarnished by the actions of those who chose to prioritize personal gain over the integrity of the game. The future of the NFL remains uncertain. Will the league be able to eradicate PED use entirely, or will it always be a part of the game, lurking in the shadows? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the NFL must remain vigilant in its efforts to combat this issue for the sake of the game, its players, and its fans. The cheers of the crowd, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, these are the elements that make the NFL so captivating, but these moments of triumph and despair ring hollow if they are achieved through deceit and unfair advantage.